Everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great. So, as you know, I am a huge Hocus Pocus fan, and so is she. And she's not going to talk today because she's got a bit of laryngitis. But I got this blanket today because today is the 1st of October, therefore it's the first day of my Vlogtober, and just last night, the second Hocus Pocus came out, and therefore we were absolutely stoked to watch it. As soon as we found out it was coming out, we were like, we're watching it together. We literally planned our day around it, true fact. So today, my video is featuring my sister Callie and the one and only Winifred Sanderson. The other ones are just kind of, I guess today I am technically Mary and you're technically Sarah. You are the blonde one, I am the brunette. So first and foremost, scale of 1 to 10. How much do you love Hocus Pocus? 50. Okay, yeah, I'd have to give that a solid 50 as well. And scale of 1 to 10, how much did you love the second one? You gave it 3 broomsticks. Okay, let's just dive into this. First of all, I think that I had like very, very high expectations. I'm like, this is gonna be literally like a second version of my childhood. And I think I might have put the expectations up a wee bit too high because I was so upset. So just so you know, this video, I hope it won't really contain many spoilers, but it might. There is a solid chance. Normally my movie reviews are completely spoiler free. Oh yeah, here's your official spoiler alert. Although I really don't know if I'm going to spoil much. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. So in the beginning, the basic of the movie line, and you see this in the trailer as well, we start with the younger version of the Sanderson sisters. Was it consistent with the movie we watched growing up? No. Reason being, the language wasn't right. Like, they weren't using the thou, hath, and whatever. Like, they weren't speaking with the times. Second of all, they weren't speaking with like the accent, and I always want to say Winnipeg. Winifred wasn't using her like pizzazz like she's got, and I get that, you know, over 300 years she maybe just developed that, yeah. Okay, for the second scene, it brings us into the woods. Now in the original, when they are about to get on the bus, they all, like the 3 witches, they all stand on the cement and they go, "Mother!" and then they all put their heads down. Now we meet a lady. Is that her? Is that not her? We're never sure because we don't know when they're talking mother, if they're talking about the one that gave them powers or the one that gave them life. They don't know the person. They don't know her. I know, but if she's the one that gives them the spell book. But if she was their mother, they would know her. You know what you remind me of? In Pitch Perfect? The like psychotic little Asian lady. Yeah. I like to watch people bleed out. But yeah, so I mean that. Okay, then moving on to this third scene. Okay, first of all, I absolutely love that this movie, in contrary to the original movie, has equality as far as racism. Racist? I hear sirens. But here's the thing that was different. In the original movie, obviously we had Max Dennison and we had Danny Dennison. Max Dennison. Yeah, and then Danny Dennison. That sounded really weird though, doesn't it? Okay, so in the original we have Max Dennison and Danny Dennison. Then we have Allison and Binks. It's very, very even, and then you have the 3 witches, which makes it a little less even, but the main core group, well, I mean, then we also have Billy, right? So it's a lot more even, whereas this movie, the 2 main characters are girls, then there's the 3 witches, and then there's the 3rd girl, and then there's, want to start a new count? Her boyfriend, and Gilbert. That's it. We've got 6 girls and 2 boys. Unless you want to count the boyfriend. Did I already say the boyfriend? Okay, unless you want to count Billy. But, okay, so I would say Billy and Gilbert, and then unless you want to count the boyfriend. There we go. So, there's 3 boys and 6 girls. And therefore, I find that there's a lot of drama high school drama. And it was so disappointing because the original one had drama, but it wasn't. I can't believe you have a boyfriend, and I can't believe that you would rather be with your boyfriend than, like, ah! Yeah, I didn't like that at all. One thing I did love, I won't get too detailed, one thing I did love was the almost the entire super mart scene. I thought that some of the things they did in there was like great use of their props. You know, great use of their surroundings and their atmosphere. I did enjoy that. Then we end up in the woods, and randomly, for no apparent reason, we have a musical number. I mean, in the first movie, there was definitely a musical number, but it fit because there was musicians there. There was, you know, they were basically being introduced as an act when they play I Put a Spell on You. So obviously they were like, what did people love? They loved the musical number. So they just randomly threw a musical number into the movie, and it just didn't feel right. I think it was very out of place, which, whatever. And then what happened next? We go back to the cottage, and it's now a gift shop, not a museum, but a gift shop, and they're selling magical items to teenagers or kids that are now taking those magical items and trying witchcraft in the woods. So that's a great message for young viewers. Billy was he the same actor, do you know? Okay, so it was the same actor that played Billy, but he was nowhere near theatrical. Billy was not theatrical whatsoever. It was very unfortunate. He was just like, what? I'm here, pay me, kind of thing. Which sucks because, well, I mean, he did have a funny part. But otherwise, like, it was very underwhelming. Yeah, quite underwhelming. So we did have one musical number that became a curse, but the way the curse ended was completely random. So, most disappointing part of the entire movie, this is a spoiler alert, is when the one girl we find out, and I actually called this in the beginning, you can vouch for me. I said, if this girl ends up being a witch and having powers, I'm turning this off. So they're like, all right, let's not give her the powers until the end of the movie, because everyone's just gonna see it and turn it off. So they gave the girl powers, and now they're apparently teasing that there's gonna be a third movie, and if there is, how do you feel, yes or no, that it could be the 3 girls from the movie? Yeah, I don't know. I loved Hocus Pocus. Yeah, if it's not these 3, it's not worth it, right? I loved Hocus Pocus. Like the original, I know it word for word. I have watched it probably more than 100 times in my entire life, and I will tell you now, the second one, I will not watch it again unless it is to see if maybe I was just wrong about all the opinions I've previously stated. Like I said, there were some funny parts. Yeah, I definitely went in expecting like the same movie that I watched growing up. Like I was like, it's gonna be like just as exciting, it's gonna be just as perfect. And I guess if I was 12 years old watching it today, I would probably love it. You know, like I feel like, yeah, like they definitely, yeah, I do agree with that, and that is something we've talked about. But you know what's funny is, because I watched E.T. yesterday, I just keep seeing E.T. behind me in the corner of my eye. But yeah, so because I put, like, I was like, it's gonna be exactly like what I grew up with. So I think that because of like the way I grew up, as I was watching Hocus Pocus, like before obviously I realized how much nostalgia was there, I was definitely very attracted to the male leads. Oh, one more thing. The CGI in the new movie was 10 times worse than in the 90s. Like the magic didn't look real, which is as much as that sounds. The magic didn't look real, the flying didn't look real, whereas it was so realistic in the original. Yeah, all in all, I have to say, like, oh, that's the difference between a male and a female director. Yeah, I definitely, as soon as I don't know, like, as soon as I first felt like, whoa, I want to turn this off, I was like, there's no way Kenny Ortega directed this. And I actually had her look it up. I'm like, was it Kenny Ortega? And it was not Kenny Ortega. But there's like, he's got a huge list of credits to his name, and there's no way that he would ever put his name on this. Anyways, I am really sorry if this video has disappointed anyone. But I think as far as I've read online, like the reviews are kind of split right down the middle. Like a good solid half of them are like, well, I never saw a single comment saying that they loved this movie more than the original. Never saw one. And I read 100 of different comments on different like things on Facebook and on YouTube, and even on TikTok, on the trailer on TikTok. And it was very, very split of I loved it and I hated it. And I gotta say, I'm not on the hated it side, but I'm definitely on the definite disliked. And I probably won't watch it again, at least not this year. And if I do, it'll be to be like, maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Maybe I'll go into it. Yeah, maybe I'll go into it like, okay, now I know it's not the original. And you know, that was another big thing, was I was very upset to not see any of the other original cast. Like for some reason, I was under the belief that this movie was supposed to be Max and Allison's child. I was really hoping to see Thora Birch, or to see the kid that played Max Dennison, or literally any of them. Obviously, Omri-Cats, yeah. Obviously, Emily and Banks wouldn't be in it because they were in the afterlife. That's not really a spoiler. If you've been around for the past 29 years, you know that. But I was really hoping to see literally somebody. But all there was just the three witches, which I loved. I'm so happy they didn't bring someone back and put them in wigs. Like someone random and put them in wigs. I'm very happy it was the three originals plus the original Billy. That's awesome. I just felt like there wasn't enough. Like, I feel like they made all of the characters too theatrical, that it took away from the witches, who are supposed to be the stars of the show. As far as plot, I give that like 4 broomsticks out of 10. Like, because like the things that they were interested in, the things that they wanted, had nothing to do with their story. What was the plot? The plot was to find the mayor because he banished them from Salem. That was another thing. Like I said in the beginning, consistency. The very first 5 minutes of the movie, Winifred says, "Then I took the Lord's name in vain." And we've never heard her say the Lord's name, ever. The only Lord we ever hear is Satan. You know, go to hell. I've been there, thank you. I find it quite lovely. Like, I mean, there's never a time that she's ever, any of them. I don't think God was mentioned in, or Lord was mentioned in any of the, by any of them in the first movie. But yeah, so that was a big thing. But then yeah, like it was just, I don't know. I don't want to be naysayer, but as far as plot, I would say it's like a 4 out of 10, because it didn't even involve anything about, like, the only time we saw any of the regular cast was when they were doing flashbacks. And I don't think you can base a movie off, like a new movie off flashbacks of the old one. Like, that's kind of weak. Yeah, and it was just like, oh, remember when? And then they just did like a flashback, and I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure every person watching this movie, let's say 1 in 10 hasn't. So 90% of these people have all seen the old movie. I don't know why you'd watch the second one without seeing the first one. Wouldn't really, you'd expect it wouldn't make sense, wouldn't you? It'd probably still be a bad movie. So yeah, as far as like a whole, I think that, like I said, I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. It's definitely just one of those movies that if I could go back in time before I watched the second one, and choose not to watch it, I really wish I could. Anyways, so I guess that's my review. I did my best to not spoil anything. I did spoil, I did give a spoiler alert for. And please don't take my words and her whispers to heart. You know, like, there's a chance that if you watch it, you'll love it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. If we're throwing it out, I don't like that either. Go in with an open mind. Yeah, go in with an open mind, absolutely. I went in going, this is going to be full of cute guys. This is going to be full of a good story. It's not going to be about drama. It's not going to be, huh? You have to remember, we're not teenagers. I know. Teenagers these days aren't cute. Yeah, but like, it kind of felt like just any decon these days. Like, ooh, let's go in and start drama in school. Like, you know, like in the original, it was very much so. Obviously, like, actually, it was really nice there wasn't a huge use of phones. All in all, great movie. Okay. All in all, good movie. Okay. All in all, satisfactory movie. I definitely won't go out of my way to watch it again. I probably won't crave watching it. But I do appreciate the effort. I do appreciate that another generation is now going to be exposed to Hocus Pocus. I, however, will be happy staying with my original. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget to tune in for the rest of October for Vlogtober. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!